This is one of our segments on the show. We a lot of the time we have these people on the show, and this is a segment I call, it's kind of the Tomorrow's Stars segment of the show, where we hand the show over to the, because sometimes this show you look at it and you think like it's sometimes it skews too old, and you think this might as well be a McDonald's at 8 a.m. filled with old timers sitting around drinking that small coffee at McDonald's and nursing a USA Today. But as they say, the youth must be served, and they also say youth gone wild. Sonic, I believe Sonic Youth had a song called "Youth Gone Wild." Oh, wait, no, that was Skid Row. But in a nod to, instead of looking to yesterday, which we got all these people on talking about the Hucklebuck and 23 Skidoo, OU Kid, talking about gas rationing and chip beef and stone soup and all that. We need to look. This is the 21st century, gang. We gotta start shoving some of these fossils out to sea, and the show needs to have contemporary voices anymore. We can't just be arguing over which birds you like better, the one that had Ron Wood in it or the one with Roger McGuinn. We can't do that anymore, guys. And that's why we have on one of the top performers of today, Anna Seregina.
I mean, wow.
And this is one of the top comedians in the business. And I say comedians. But Anna can do so much more than just comedy.
Yeah, thank you. And I skew very young. So
you do skew very young, exactly.
Yeah, I skew young. Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to get, you think of me, and you think of things like Oldsmobiles and you think of like old 78s that you could pick up and check out, and you think of just like hip surgery and things like that. Or those are the things I evoke. We get an Anna Seregina on the show. You think of TikTok, and you think of Machine Gun Kelly, and you think of all the things that the kids are into, whether it's Machine Gun Kelly or
TikTok. There's no Jello Biafra slander here, because I skew younger than that.
Yeah, that's not.
So you think of really TikTok, and
no, you think of Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly, yeah, exactly.
And like, I'm cut from the cloth. When I say jackass, I say, Johnny Knoxville and Bam Margera. And when Anna Seregina says jackass, she's talking about poopies.
Yeah, I'm talking about poopies.
And Zach,
the woman. Yeah,
and Rachel Wolfson.
Thank you.
Is that her name, Rachel Wolfson?
Yes.
And I'm cut from the. I say, and when Anna says who's like an old timer on Jackass, she goes, Dark Shark, of course.
Of course.
And I say, what about Phil Margera?
Uh-huh.
It's the forever fascinating generation gap.
Well, it's the passing of the torch, right? That's what it's all about.
Yes. It's Dave England passing the torch to poopies.
Absolutely. It's exactly the torch being passed to poopies, and specifically that, actually. Mostly that.
Look, nobody was more excited about that Jackass movie than I was. The second they were just like, this is Poopies, I was almost like, yeah, I think I'm out. I think I might get up and leave. I'm seeing it the night it comes out.
You're leaving
in a theater.
And you're out the door.
And suddenly I'm just like, I think I might leave. There's a guy named Poopies in this. It's 6 minutes in.
That's all it took.
I don't know if I can. And as far as the human goes, perfectly fine. It's just the name. The
name, you go, I can't do this. My generation, a name meant something.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah. Well, I want to understand how you live,
Yeah, exactly. It was a look behind the curtain, because you look and you see Johnny Knoxville. Suddenly you're like, why is the hair on his head a different color than it was in the first one?
Exactly. And you know what's nice is for the chicks, there was in Just Like That. And we had that with Miranda. But for the fellas, we have Jackass, and we have that conversation with Johnny Knoxville. So it's actually a great year.
And Just Like That, yes. Did you feel heard and seen and represented and Just Like That, between some of the fun young characters in that, like Miranda's son, who is apparently a weird, inappropriate sex addict.
Yeah, I know that's me.
Whose girlfriend orders inappropriate items that are shipped to their house
on Amazon. Nonetheless.
Yeah, I just had it sent over here. Why?
Yeah. Why? That means in her Amazon account, she's got a couple of addresses at least.
She's scrolling through those addresses going, yeah, let's send it to the Hobbs house.
There's 2-3 addresses in there. Pick your poison.
Yeah. And it's just like, well, it was like, was it like a sex toy or something that got sent to the house? And then like, that's my package. Why would you ever have that delivered to someone else's house? And
no, Tom, that's the thing. That's what youth is all about. I'm very much in there. I'm in there, so same thing. I'll get an Amazon package delivered to anyone's house.
Sure.
I don't care.
You get it. And it's like, you get it because I watch and Just Like That. And I see myself in I see a Charlotte, and I see myself in it. You watch and you see Rock, and you're like, I'm kind of like Rock, and I'm kind of like Lily, and I'm kind of like Miranda's disgusting son.
Yeah.
But there was one character that we all saw a little bit of ourselves in. We all know who that is, of course.
We all know who that is.
J. Diaz.
I mean, I look at them and I go, I don't care who you are. That's me.
Everybody screamed at the same time, just like when they would always say that the water supply goes down during the commercials in the Super Bowl because everybody's using the turlet at the same time and flushing. Everyone in America screamed, "That's me."
I thought maybe the Laugh Factory website goes down during the commercial breaks of Just Like That, because people are just overwhelming the
look, today is a day for celebration, Anna, because
Hillary Clinton got COVID.
No, I'm not. What kind of celebrating are you doing over at that house of yours?
Yeah, I can't even begin to tell you.
You're just like, yeah.
Well, you know what I appreciated about her tweeting about COVID is that she added kind of a flirty, and I am taking movie recommendations. And you know me, I'm a film lover. I want to get in there. I want to get in the discourse.
Did you send her any recommendations?
I go slow.
Wait, what? What was that?
Solo, Pasolini Solo.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Why don't you just recommend? Like what's Berlin Alexander plots?
Yes, exactly.
While you're at it.
Close second. Yeah.
Hey, hey, Hillary, how up on Fassbender are you? Wanna check this one out?
Hey, what about plopping on Martyrs and just cozying out with
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah. Have you seen any of these Les Blanc
The
films?
documentaries are.
Yeah. I think it's worth checking out. If I had the feeling that I had a spike going down the center of my forehead that will not stop, which is what COVID was like for me,
Oh,
I would love it if somebody recommended, say, an early Mail's Brother, Salesman. Why don't you watch Salesman?
Yeah.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. I will say this. When I had COVID, I would rather have gotten a job as a rodeo clown before I would have watched anything on Criterion Channel.
No, you didn't use the time wisely?
I wasn't just like, now's a chance to really brush up on some of these things. Some of these things are leaving.
Yeah, you didn't take the opportunity to deep dive into Tarkovsky?
No, exactly. Yeah, let me really, this is a good time. I'll watch Drive My Car 3 times.
Yeah. Perfect.
I saw Drive My Car in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's the quietest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Let me ask you this, Tom. Are you Stubbs?
Do I use Stubbs?
Yeah.
I have. I'm currently not utilizing Stubbs.
You're abstaining.
I'm abstubbing.
Wow. Okay. See, that's why you're the Che Diaz.
I'm going to send that one in. If anybody has the fax number for and just like that writer's room, I want to just get that joke in the mix.
We got to get you staffed.
I got to get staffed.
You got to get staffed.
Could you imagine?
Yes.
The menu order going around in that room.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Sweet Green again? Great.
Absolutely. Everyday Sweet Green, of course.
Yeah. Fine. I guess I'll get the fish taco thing. So
local flavor.
Anna, you are a comedian, you're an actor, you're a writer, but what you are known as in 2022 is a podcaster.
Okay, so see, when you go, which character do you identify with from just like that?
Yeah.
I identify actually with the podcast.
Yes, that portion. It is kind of like a Rorschach where you look and you see yourself in different ways. And my favorite podcasts are the ones that deal very seriously with gender issues, but also have a soundboard where somebody's playing fart sounds and and I don't think so, or whatever was like.
Well, it's an art form for today, you know.
But that was almost like they were writing the show and they're just like, well, I haven't heard one of these podcasts everybody's talking about, but I have heard the Z Morning Zoo. Yeah. And is that what a podcast is? Well, let's just do that as a thing.
Yeah, the amount of research that went into podcasting and comedy was impressive.
Yeah. And
to say the least, yeah.
I love that Che Diaz was like, I'm going to LA, so I'm quitting the podcast. That was literally the most unrealistic thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh yeah, no, you can't come to Los Angeles and do a podcast.
No.
There's no way to make that work.
Yeah. So podcast is for New York and pilots are for LA. So that's kind of that's the breakdown.
Do you think that Tony Danza was mad when he heard that they referenced him as auditioning for the part, and he's just like, hey, I don't audition anymore. What are you doing to me? I'm offer only.
Yeah, I'm offer only. Yeah.
You're going to say I'm auditioning? I'm not auditioning to play Che Diaz's father. They can make me an offer.
They can make me an offer.
We'll see if I can refuse it.
Exactly. And I guess we'll have to wait and see if I refuse it.
But Anna, you have done a season of a podcast called Truth Hounds.
Truth Hounds, yeah.
And season 2 is about to begin.
Can I even do you one better?
Oh, yeah, please.
I mean, it began today.
Season 2 of Truth Hounds began today. Now,
so guess what?
What's that?
I come to you on the day of kind of my daughter's wedding.
Look at this. You come to me on the day of, we're kind of blurring the characters into each other. You're coming to me, but it's my show. And
so she's our daughter.
I'm not sure what any of this means exactly. Who owes who a favor now? I'm not sure. Like,
yeah,
it's not exactly tracking, but
well, that's the difference between your generation and my generation. With your generation, it's all Johnny Knoxville and whose daughter is it? And with my generation, it's Poopy's and it's kind of the community's daughter, you know?
Yes. And like you said, you have that, your friend with COVID said it takes a village.
My good friend with COVID. You know what else my good friend with COVID said?
What's that? And
this is disgusting. In some speech, she's talking about kids. And she goes, and we have to think about even our littlest citizens. And I can't get that out of my head.
That's truly awful.
I
to call children our littlest citizens.
They're just our littlest citizens.
Yeah. By all means, let's hustle them up into adulthood.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem. That's the whole problem with things. Like kids are being kids for too long.
No, they're adults. Exactly.
What a weird
Pick up a
world.
Room, earn your keep, you know?
Anna, we're in a world now where people are in a rush to make kids adults, but when they become adults, they do nothing but act like kids.
Oh, God, don't I know it?
Where they're like, because usually with like wrestling, and I'm not putting people down who like wrestling. You like wrestling, God bless you. Go all day and pretend you're Hulk Hogan or whoever your hero is, and you jump off the turnbuckle and you slam Gary Hart or whatever the guy's name was.
Something like that.
But like wrestling was the kind of thing where in the 50s it was for just like people to just go to see live and laugh at, or to like that, like it was just like a thing that was just like, yeah, it's wrestling. Some people think it's real, some people don't, but nobody was like living and dying with it. Now it's like, but then when like this new generation aged up, they're just like, no, wrestling is still ours. We're not giving it back to children.
Yes.
And they did the same thing with comic books. And they did the same thing with like Star Wars, where they're just like, I hate Jar Jar Binks. He's the worst. It's like, well, I got news for you. Check C-3PO out one of these days. And you realize you had a Jar Jar Binks when you were a kid. His name was C-3PO. And he was super annoying. And you had yours. Don't take it away from kids.
Wow. You're slandering Jello Biafra now. I mean,
Jar Jar,
now Star Wars.
And C-3PO. I'm going after the Bay Area.
You really are.
The Bay Area is really taking it on the chin tonight over on the Best Show between, you know what, in Lucas films, they're furious. Skywalker Ranch, they don't know what to do now. God. They're probably trying to keep, don't let George hear this.
Absolutely. Don't let, Daly City is whispering, don't let George hear this. Yeah.
Tell George there was no new Best Show this week.
Make sure you go to him and tell him there's no new Best Show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, George, pretty weird. There was no Best Show this week, huh?
You just say it casually. Don't just say, say it in the middle of of another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, George, you check out, you watch the Beatles documentary?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's no new Best Show this week. What a weird time, huh?
It's a weird time because you got the documentary, but no new Best Show at the same time. It's kind of crazy.
George, did you watch Love Is Blind season 2? That was pretty nuts. And now and there's no Best Show this week. So
Yeah, naming just a couple of things that there aren't this week. There's no Bachelor, that's over.
Yeah.
No new Best Show, that's just, I don't know where that is.
You just front load, then you hope he doesn't hear me saying Jar Jar Binks and C3PO are the same.
Yeah, we'll front load it. Don't worry about that.
So now tell me, Anna, Truth Hounds there's some sort of, what is the skydiving thing now with your show? And first of all, what is Truth? Tell people who don't know what Truth Hounds is, what it is.
And I fear there are a few of them.
Again, again, the Bay Area, I want to mention, what is this? The way Mr. Bungle would say, another Bay Area.
Wow.
He said, what is it? So tell people what is it, and it being your podcast.
The podcast. So the podcast I co-host and co-make with Kyle Mazzono, who earnestly wanted to be here tonight but could not.
Okay.
Busy. But we kind of we investigate things like, why does time fly by when you're having fun? Why are some people mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why are some people late?
Sure. So you're trying to get to the bottom of these.
Yeah, and so to give you an example from season 1, why does time fly by when you're having fun? We go, well, let's check out what happens when we don't have fun. Hey, let's go stare at a wall at Costco for 10 minutes. Let's see what happens then. Watch what happens live.
Sure. What happens live? Well, I would say that would depend on which wall you were looking at Costco.
Yes, and we went. We chose west.
Okay.
The western wall of Costco.
And what was on that western wall?
Nothing. Brown as day.
And you were not having fun.
We had fun because people kept stopping to look at Kyle, and I kept saying that she looked like Dr. Demento. So we unfortunately did have fun. So
yeah, people were
that one didn't fly.
Why is that? Why is Dr. Demento at
Dr.
Costco?
I mean, why is this woman so close to the wall of Costco? I mean, that's just too close. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Get a
now,
little
did Kyle have a little horn? Was Kyle going like?
No.
Like Dr. Demento?
No, acoustic. She was
top hat?
She went unplugged. No hat at all. If you could believe it.
And was Kyle saying like, "Hello, everybody," and
we're
going to hear Barnes and Barnes with fish heads up next?
I am telling you, Tom, absolutely not. She had no accoutrements, and yet she still looked like Dr. Demento. It was her spirit.
That's a powerful spirit.
That's why we had to get a podcast. We go, her spirit's too powerful. Let's get a podcast going about this. Well, so Tom,
so that was season 1.
That's season 1. That's gone for. We also we recorded an episode about moving dirt. We go, let's go where podcasting hasn't gone before. Let's move dirt.
Sure. Okay.
So we did that.
You moved some dirt around.
If you're asking, we moved dirt around. Yeah. This season, episode 1. What happened is that in season 1 we got a 1-star review on iTunes, and so we kind of investigate that.
And I'm sure that ended in a very satisfying.
Yeah.
That was just that you reached a satisfying. You put a nice bow around it, and you feel like you could just move forward now from that.
It felt like a day at the spa, so I felt comfortable. I felt satisfied. And so we go, look, I'm here, I'm getting the coveted Best Show bump, and that doesn't, that I don't take that lightly.
Sure. Now, what is the skydive? Tell me about skydiving.
Well, so we go, other than the coveted Best Show bump, what can we do to promote the podcast? And so we go, what if we go skydiving? And so we did that. We went skydiving. I go, let's go skydiving, and we'll yell the name of the podcast, and we'll make the instructor yell it too. And we'll get a nice video.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, people are listening to the podcast. Well, Um,
And that worked out.
that
How?
worked. I mean, we drive to Paris, California.
Mm-hmm.
We do go skydiving. I get strapped to a guy. I mean, you're just strapped to a guy.
Uh-huh.
Is the thing I really want to underline. That I didn't really take that into consider. Things I didn't take into consideration are that you're just strapped to a guy for a while. So you're just hanging out with, a guy.
Mm-hmm. That you've never met before.
No. And then you're just in your regular outfit. So your street clothes get to take a little road trip to the sky.
Okay. And
so you're just in your jeans up there.
So you're dressed as if you were going to go to Chipotle.
Yeah, I'm dressed like I'm going to Chipotle.
But now but it turns out you were also dressed to jump out of a plane.
I'm dressed. I'm going to Chipotle eventually, but I'd take a little pit stop. I could fall out of the sky.
I would. I don't know if I could do it.
Well, here's what I will say. You're not really making once you're strapped to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to highlight that you're strapped to a guy. You're not really making the decision, like you're not even making the decision to step out of the plane. He's going and you're like his plus one.
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing very little, actually.
All you're doing is just like participating in gravity.
Yeah. He's going and you go, I'm already here. So,
mm-hmm.
So, but my favorite part is that you're falling. Honestly, it kind of sucks. It really hurts, and it's just really uncomfortable physically. But
what part hurts? The wind, smashing you in the face nonstop.
Nonstop. I mean, you're not getting a moment of breathing time.
Mm-hmm.
The goggles, they're hurting your head. The pressure is insane. It really hurts. You're drooling. Truth be told, this isn't glamorous.
And do they have like some weird GoPro aimed at your face to sell you your own footage of you looking
Absolutely.
like a weird melting person?
Absolutely. With royalty-free music.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of splattered all over the video. Where you go, it goes. Mm-hmm. This royalty-free music. So I really love that. I wonder who's in charge of those decisions. But once the parachute opens, you're kind of free floating.
For was that about nice?
15. It was kind of nice. It's very quiet. It's very
15
peaceful.
What? 15
minutes.
15 minutes.
So Tom, here's where here's where I'm coming from. I'm strapped to this guy. 15 mm-hmm. minutes. I start trying to make small talk. Okay.
While you're thousands of feet above the ground.
Well, you see, it looks so, you're so far away, you're so high up that it doesn't look real, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so many times you could go, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's that whole thing where it becomes, I felt that way when I saw, to a lesser scale, when I saw in Las Vegas, I saw the Beatles Cirque du Soleil show. And I was just like at the first, so it starts off and you're like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing I ever saw before. They're flying all over the place. They're bouncing off trampolines. Everything is death defying. You cannot believe what you saw. After like 15 minutes, you're just like, it's still as death defying as it was, but I became incredibly numb to all of it. And it was just kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, they're playing Help. And they're
they're playing Help,
and they're bouncing. They're doing BMX bike stunts. It's still just as risky as anything else in the show, but I'm just so numb at this point.
When I didn't feel numb, is in the Chris Angel Las Vegas show.
Wait, which one's that? Mind Freak?
Or
the new one?
The new one.
What's the new one called?
No
refunds.
No refunds. I don't remember. I should have.
think it
But
starts with an A, if I remember correctly.
Animaniacs.
It was Animaniacs, and it's at the Warner Brothers water tank.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually, you know what? I gotta come clean. I've seen Mind Freak too. I've seen both shows.
Sure, you're a Chris Angel head.
I'm an absolute Chris Angel head.
I saw Mind Freak. I did see Mind Freak.
Did you have a wonderful time?
Oh yeah, my favorite part is when he was just like, when he cuts to all the people saying like, levitate me, Chris, and then like there's this video montage is like, and then it's like, then there's like Shaq on it. It's like, hey, Chris, Chris, levitate me.
That's a really good shot. Wow.
Hey, it's me, Shaq. And but he was like, and then he did this levitation stunt.
Yes.
And it was kind of like, he kind of didn't do it also in a way, like he did. Because it's like the whole thing with Chris Angel is, if you have half a brain in your head, you'd know all of it is just wires. There's just like, it's just like, but it's not even like a kind of magic where you're like, how? I know it's a trick, but I don't know how. It's like, you know, at Chris Angel that it's all a trick, and you know how.
You know exactly how.
It's all wires. But
then he, you know what the real element of magic is?
That Buffalo accent of his.
Okay, that is one. You know what the other one is?
I feel like that's the most magical part of the whole show.
You're not
this guy clearly from upstate New York just being like, I like magic.
Yeah, he's like, hey, how you doing today? You guys want to see magic?
But it's got like that slight, it's just a weird act, like he's from upstate, and you're just like, okay, I guess we're in the hands of a dude from Syracuse is gonna.
Yeah, he's a big Syracuse guy.
You guys like garbage plates?
Yeah.
You get them as SUNY Binghamton.
I got to tell you, when I saw Mind Freak, there weren't that many people there. And it was a really incredible experience because I bought the cheapest seats and I got there, and this woman who turned out to be the janitor, which would be important later. A little bit of foreshadowing for you. She goes, you can sit in the fifth row. No one comes. And I go, oh, okay. So I sit in the fifth row.
Those are his comp. Those are like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was very sparsely, modestly attended. Modest attendance.
Okay.
And we've all been there. Yeah. And the video, this was at the Luxor at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you see it at the Luxor or somewhere else?
Is that the one shaped like a pyramid?
Yes.
Then that's where I saw it.
Okay. So you know how in the beginning you see the video of him standing at the tip of the Luxor?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. But in the video it's daytime. And but when I was there, it was already nighttime outside.
Yeah.
So I guess he just didn't adjust the video for daylight savings time.
No, he didn't get around to that.
No.
Very busy.
He's a busy guy.
He's got time to even out the continuity on the the introductory magic in the show.
You got to check in on Jonathan Davis. I mean, there's a lot of stuff he's got to do. You know, his day is busy.
He's checking on the guy from Korn.
Yeah, he's very busy. He's checking in on the guy from Korn. How you doing? You know, how you doing? What's going on?
So you're in the fifth row.
Okay, so I'm in the. You don't want to talk about Jonathan Davis, I guess.
Oh, I guess.
He's in the fifth row. I'm in the fifth row. And because there aren't that many people there, you can tell right away who's a plant because they're dressed simply. No other word comes to mind other than fabulous. I mean, they're really dressed very well. And so when he pulls this woman who's, I mean, essentially in a gown up on stage, and she does a song and dance, she goes, "Oh my, me? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could I mean, you know, I don't, okay, I guess I will."
Yeah.
So that was really funny. This did have, what's the sexy show? Because this was in cahoots with, the sexy show. Some other Cirque du Soleil.
There was like a dirty Cirque du Soleil show.
Well, I go, what's the how are they in cahoots? When's that going to come play a factor? He goes, here comes Tanya from the name of the show. Forgive me for forgetting.
Sure. Yes.
She comes out and he goes, do you guys like Tanya? We go, yeah, sure. He goes, do you want to see Tanya disappear? And we go, sure, yeah. He makes her disappear. That was the end of Tanya.
Mm-hmm. If I was Chris Angel at this point, what I would do, I'd come out and go, I would come out and claim that I made half the audience disappear.
Yes.
I'd say, I pulled the Thanos. I just got rid of half the audience. And
That's
now
really
it's just
good.
me. You just blame it on just take credit for why there's nobody there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you're good. Well,
if
my
Chris Angel
favorite
would only
part,
hire me to write for him.
I honestly would love that. I mean,
I'd go from
honestly, we got to get you in that room.
I'd go from the And Just Like That writer's room right into the Chris Angel.
We got to get you staffed.
Junior room. Yeah,
that's right. But my favorite part is that he some doves flew out of his sleeves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but because the theater was nearly empty, I saw them hit the back wall and die.
Oh my God!
and then the janitor lady from earlier had to go sweep them up. So, I mean, that's worth.
Yeah.
That's no amount of money. I mean, I would pay $1,000 to see this.
Yeah, I would say, Chris, congratulations, you made my will to live disappear.
Oh, wow. They need you there. They need you in the room.
The way you killed those animals during the show.
Definitely.
No animals were harmed during the wait. Some animals were harmed.
Some animals were harmed, of course. Do you know in the new one he goes, so everything he says kind of rocks. Mm-hmm. He has a bass player who just stands at the side of the stage, ready to go to rock. And
bass player.
Yes, there's just a bass player.
What's he going to play? Taxman?
He's going to play Taxman.
Bass songs.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
That's exactly why.
Yeah.
So he's on call. His call never really comes. The call never comes, Tom.
That would be the greatest if the guy played Seinfeld music.
That would be, of course.
So the bass player never plays anything. He's just on call.
He's just threatening you with the potential to play, the potential to rock. And I understand that. That is frightening.
Yeah, but potential to rock.
I mean, frightening to even say the potential to rock.
Yeah.
And then he keeps going like, you guys like spiders? The crowd goes nuts. I mean, he's like, do you guys like
spiders?
Yeah, I mean, he's just naming stuff, He's naming
running
stuff.
At the clock on this show. Like, it's like that one magician, that crybaby magician, the one who did that special where he was like,
I know the one.
Oh, that guy can't handle that. That guy where he was just like,
do you remember that point in the pandemic?
When everybody was like, oh, you have to watch this.
You got in hushed tones. Yeah, okay, yes, but you have to watch.
You have to watch this guy. He cries.
And then Tim Gunn cries.
He does 3 tricks in 90 minutes. He does 3 magic tricks in 90 minutes. And one of them has a book that he gives an audience member to go home and do the show for him, apparently. Yeah. Like you're like a collaborator now. If he ever picked me to take that book, I would take it. I'd throw it right in the sewer, right outside the theater. And then you'd watch after the show that crybaby on his hands and knees with a stick trying to fish it out of the sewer.
Very punk. I mean,
and then.
Well, I got to say, he looks like, and I'm not trying to do, but it looks like Nanette at an Asian fusion restaurant. The wall reminds me of like just an Asian fusion restaurant waiting room. And my man's just doing Nanette. But Tom, but to be fair, Tim Gunn is crying. You know what I mean?
No, he did make Tim Gunn cry.
Come on. At the end of the day, Tim Gunn is crying.
If you can make Tim Gunn cry, that's the real magic trick.
Well, but so check this out. Chris Angel, he goes, do you guys like this? Do you guys like that?
Mhm.
Everybody's hyped. The woman in front of me is basically pulling her hair out. That's how horned up she is for this. Okay. He goes, then halfway through, he goes, do you guys like cancer?
Oh, he's going to start on the Johnny Christopher stuff now.
Oh,
his son.
Tom, he goes right into it. He does a cancer bit. I mean, it's just his, oh.
Because look, God bless him. His kid was sick for a while, and
God bless
his kid's better now, from everything I've heard.
Yeah.
But the show I saw, he did a weird thing where there was like a sexy lady came out in a wheelchair, acting all like she was sick, and then suddenly pulls off the thing and starts dancing around. No. And it was like, it was the most troubling thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh, and it was like, wow. It's a weird. It's weird how with some of these shows, it could either be the thing you did is the most strangely personal thing, and you should probably never tell anyone about that. Or it should be, put it in this incredibly mainstream show. And it's so weird that it becomes like oddly universal. It's strange how those things work like that. They go from being so unique to where you might be just like, oh, we could never do this in a show. That's just too strange. Mm-hmm. And then it'd be just like, let's do it. And then it's for everybody all of a sudden.
Wow.
Well, it's for everybody also. And watch this. Watch how I do this. Okay. Truth Hounds season 2.
Oh, Tom. I mean, this is why you're good. I mean,
you.
I mean, you're kind of you're BP. You're beyond pod, but
some of us beyond pod. I appreciate.
Yeah, you're beyond pod, and I'm not afraid to say it. And some of us are just in the gutter looking up at the stars, as kind of
Yeah, well,
we say, and so to us the stars are you. And
well, you're very sweet, and you might need to get some perspective on a few things if that's how you truly see things.
Tom, I got I can't get. I'm in the gutter. Where do you want me to go for perspective? Keep in mind.
That's true. Now, Anna, what else is going on? You got some. You doing shows? What are you doing? What's going on? Are you around Los Angeles? Are you back doing live stuff?
Oh, I'm back. I gotta get on the
very
stage.
Convincing.
They can't keep me away from the stage. I go, now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right now more than ever. Because. Comedy's in a sensitive place right now. Guys can barely be guys anymore. So I do what I can.
Well, we appreciate it.
And I know
on behalf of all guys, we appreciate you fighting the good fight. But seriously, your season 2 is out of Truth Hounds. It started today, literally today.
Yeah. Literally today.
It's very exciting. I'm glad you are still doing it, and I'm excited to hear what goes on in season 2, and people can get it where they get podcasts.
They can get it exactly where they get podcasts. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I say to you, thank you for coming on the best show.
Oh my God, Tom! Thank you. What a pleasure.
Well, it's a mutual pleasure.
It's a mutual pleasure. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you, Anna Seregina.
Thank you, Tom.
Gina.
Scharpling. Yeah,
Gina.
well, either way.
I always get it wrong. I always think I got it right, and then I outsmart myself in my head and say the wrong thing. It's weird.
Well, check this out. Thank you, Tom Scharpling.
There you go. Look at that.
So,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Anna, and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye, Tom.
Bye.